Valentine's Day is the theme for today, and the theme is our most desired TVs for us personally. Up next.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for watching. I am joined with my partner in crime, Stop the FOMO. FOMO, how are you today?
I'm doing great. It's pre-Valentine's Day, Valentine's Eve. I'm getting ready, getting dressed up. Although this may not be the outfit I want to wear on Valentine's Day, but
It's date night.
it is.
So
I don't want to deal with the crowds on Valentine's Day. You
I
either do
hear
it
you.
today or you do it a few days later. You don't want to do it the day of.
You can tell who's married. We're married guys, but this is a Valentine's Day theme for you guys. Happy Valentine's Day for all of you watching. And for all of you watching in the premiere chat, we love you guys dearly. Thank you so much for watching. And if you're watching any other day, happy whatever day you're watching. The topic for today is most desired TVs. And FOMO and I often get this question is not really which TV do you recommend? We get those every day. But once in a while, FOMO, someone will say, no, you personally, what TV would you personally buy? Now that's dicey as a reviewer or influencer, though we hate that term.
Mhm.
What would you buy yourself?
Yes.
And coming from CES, we know what was great last year. We recommend those TVs every few weeks or every few days between our videos and live streams. It's personally, what did you walk away from? You and I talking on the phone. What would you buy for your family? So we're looking for a top 3 from each of us as, again, reviewers or whatever we are, that we would buy for ourselves. And we'll talk about some others we're not fond of, and we'll compare each other's notes. But FOMO, so I'm looking for is top 3 from CES that you
Okay.
would buy, you'd put in your home. Let's start off right off the bat that, your name is Stop the FOMO, but around this time of year, they think your name should be Create the FOMO.
I
So
have
let's,
FOMO. I have FOMO.
so before we go into the top 3, give me your quick gist of what you saw from the show. Just quickly, we've done this video several times, but were you super excited? Did you see a lot of real, tangible TVs that you'd consider in the show?
I'm going to look at features, right? So, because at the end of the day, TV all does the same thing. They're a TV. You got a tuner, all the good stuff. It's the features that now separate the TVs. And the features that excited me the most were first size, I think is a feature, like 115-inch, 110-inch, 100-inch, just sizes that I've never seen before. And then we have AI upscaling. I thought was unique the way they demoed it. I've never seen it demoed like that before. So I'm very excited about Samsung's 8K upscaling AI Neuralink. I thought that was very interesting. And I
Yep.
would love to have a TV that had that. And I mean, I know you hate this. I really like the matte screen because I know which room I would be using it in already. So, like, we're
Okay.
talking use case, right? So,
Mhm.
I would not put it in my dedicated theater room, obviously. But
Okay.
dude, I got bright lights, I got bright windows, and it's bothering
Yeah.
me right now, right? And so these are the features. The question is, what combination of features do I want on my TV? Because no TV has all the features, right? You don't have a matte
Yeah.
screen with AI
Mhm.
upscaling at 115 inches, right? Like,
So,
ultimately, what are my compromises to stop my FOMO?
So what would be, for many of you watching that don't know us, we both have done this for a number of years now. The tricky question about asking what we would want is hard because we do switch TVs out quite regularly. And as content creators, we don't watch nearly as much content as we do testing TVs. So when we buy something, especially on Valentine's Day, FOMO, it's not our end all be all. It's not our true love. So asking us that question is always dicey. We always say, yeah, but I wouldn't buy that because I'm not looking to have that forever. So today's video is really about us putting our forever hats on, our true love hats, and what TV would be your end all be all for this year if FOMO and I were in the market. So FOMO, let's start off with you with just your first. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. I'd like to go from
Okay.
your most favorite. Let's go your
Okay.
top 1 TV, your top 1 that you would
My
want to
top TV.
get this year. Why and what maybe you don't love about it, what concerns you. Give me the whole ball of wax.
So, as all of you who watch my channel know, I love HDR Impact. I think future content, current content, all the best content is creators trying to move into that HDR impact, right? That pop, that bing bang, and they create a narrative that takes advantage of that. And I want a TV that fully takes advantage of that, including Sony's announcement of 4,000 nits being the future with their whole
Mhm.
mastering. So this year is the first time where I think I have a selection of TVs that can hit 4,000 nits easily and also give me that impact. So I think you guys know where I'm going with this. The 115-inch TCL in my living room. I can fit it. I mean, come on, everyone's living room is large enough to fit it, right? So where we sit's about, I'd say, no more than 9 feet away, 10 feet away from the wall. Currently, it's a 65-inch that I have just sitting there, where I think it's the Q90R, and it's kind of small from 9 feet away. And I'm thinking, 115-inch would fit there perfectly. And at 9, 10 feet away, wow, that Super Bowl would have been great. And then it makes me realize, wait, I watch a lot of college football, sports. I mean, it's like a family room, and you got lights everywhere. You got the kitchen, you got people cooking and watching. And they're like 20 feet away, right? 25 feet away, 30 feet away, possibly. And it's one of those open format spaces. A 115-inch TV would be perfect with all the lights and everything, and it definitely gets bright enough. And who cares about motion, cinematic motion? Because mostly it's like sports events, and even if you're watching a movie, I'm okay with it. Like, you guys saw how much I like the QM8. I'm okay with the TCL look for that use, right? I got people over. I mean, that's it. I put that TV up there and they're not leaving, right? They're just gonna sit there and watch TV, or maybe you want them to leave. But I
Just turn it off. Oh, sorry, show's over.
Hey, it's broken, right? So that would be my first. Now, 115-inch. Now, obviously, we don't know how much it's gonna cost, right? It's probably gonna be very expensive,
Mhm.
but this is like the TV I would want for myself. So let's say that's a bit expensive, like the 110-inch U8K or U8N,
Stay
right?
there. Stay right. Let's stay with the
Yes,
one.
right? So
Why
all right,
why
the
we're
one.
gonna stay so why I want to stay with the one is fleshing it out a bit further. We're talking about the TCL QM8 115 Max. Now,
Yes.
as your end all be all, price is the concern, but remember, you and I are consumers in this
Mhm.
conversation. So even if the TV is 10,000, you would be approaching it as a consumer. So you may pick it up in 6 months at 8,000. So it
Yeah.
is a realistic purchase considering Kaleidoscape and the high-end audio that you
True.
have. It
True.
would be in your ballpark because you'd be buying this TV for it lasts you 5 to 10 years. That's the
I'm getting an
imaginary
extended
concept.
warranty, so y'all know. If I get this TV, I'm getting an extended warranty. There's no way.
Now we're really getting into the role play. So this is the successor to last year's excellent QM8 from TCL. Vibrant, high zone count, a lot of saturation. Maybe not the
5,000
most
nits.
5,000 nits, and this year is going to be a jump over last year. FOMO's first choice is the TCL QM8 115 Max. While you guys are watching this, there will be images of those TVs that we shot out there. So that's a great first pick. I love your use case. I love your realistic scenario. Annie's thinking about the entire family. For all of you guys, that will make a difference. What's your use case? What's your family environment? You're a single guy. You might want a different TV. You're a big gamer. For me, the number one choice in the TV that I'm most excited about and may even consider without role play is the 83-inch LG G4. To me, I love the G series since it launched. MLA technology, micro lens array. It's also called something else now, but MLA was left off last year's 83-inch version. 83 inches is large enough for me, even in our role-playing scenario. I don't feel the need.
It's too small, man.
It's too small. And you were the 65-inch guy for freaking ever. But the 83-inch MLA G3 is not just because of the size now. It is brighter. What is the target now? 3,000 nits. I think 3,000 nits with the infinite contrast and the micro contrast of an OLED will dust any LED out there. For me, the LED, no matter how bright they get, FOMO, it's that fine detail that I know will be missing. And more importantly for me, FOMO, it is the 144 hertz that I think will be included on the G4 this year. It'll be useful because I think LG will get it right. There won't be a one connect box. And like Samsung, they've kind of been at the head of the gaming with InSync. With G-Sync, with NVIDIA G-Sync, with InSync, with NVIDIA G-Sync, they've always been ahead of that. I think they'll get 144 hertz correct. And being a PC gamer with a 4090, I will use it. The biggest jump for me is not the peak brightness. It is the new processor that LG will have on that G4. That's what makes it more coveted for me. That'll make me leave my C1 because the brightness alone, as you've mentioned many times, FOMO, doesn't show up in all content. That processor will. And the C1 is a TV that I have in my home theater. For context, I have the brand new 83-inch A80L behind me. Brightness isn't super interesting to me, but if it's useful brightness, FOMO, mixed with a new processor and the gaming features that I love, that would be my first pick, would be the 83-inch LG G4.
Okay.
What do you have for me for number 2, or do you want to flesh out the G4 a little bit?
Well, the G4, I think my biggest concern
other than
is
it being too small.
too small. That's it. I mean, it's a great TV. Don't get me wrong. I think
83 is too small. What world are we in, bro?
If it wasn't 83, let's just say for the sake of argument, right? It's a 97-inch MLA, and it's within budget. Let's say it's 10.
Okay,
grand or
that's
whatever.
yep.
Okay, then playing hypotheticals, would you have chosen a 97-inch if it was within your budget? Let's say it doesn't have MLA. Let's just say 97-inch without MLA, right? It's the G2, but it's within budget. Would you have considered that?
So that's a great question, and that's why I love our unscripted discussions. Playing devil's advocate, if you guys have the budget, the 97-inch G2 is there. It's out in the wild. It's at Robert at Value Electronics all the time. For me, I have a very hard time paying for a higher end, larger, less quality based TV. So for me, even the Z2, which I love at 88 inches, without MLA, it would bother me that it costs X amount of dollars. The G2, I think, is still 20 plus thousand at 97. Not having MLA would bother me. And also not having the new processor would bother me. So I still won't chase that size. I still want that critical viewing and zone count. But this is my end all be all. This is not just a family TV. This is what I would personally get. I think the only drawback I would go with, FOMO, would be if they haven't really solved the WRGB vertical banding in the 12%, 15% gray.
Right.
Do you have...
yeah,
go ahead.
True.
Stay with that.
Because I'm thinking, even if they didn't solve it, what's your alternative? There's nothing in the 83-inch size,
Now, for you, quickly jumping back to the 115 Max, is there something other than price that would be a deterrent for you? Is there a processing thing there, or the lack of maybe that natural look that would keep you away from it? I should have stayed with why you left it. So we're back to the QM8 115 real quick for FOMO.
Okay, and I do have a number 2 option if it ends up, and just for the sake of argument, motion ends up being terrible, or processing is like, oh, what happened here, right? Because TCL is still unproven in terms of consistency of image processing. We don't know how they will process 115-inch. Maybe it just doesn't look as good as I had hoped beyond size, right? Ooh, it's size, but my QM8 looks better. I mean, you're like, wait, how is it the smaller TVs look better? So we don't know.
Would you think clarity, FOMO, sharpness, clarity? Are you thinking picture processing? Or are you more
both,
about cleanliness?
Right?
Okay.
It could be a combination of both, but ultimately it could also be wife acceptance factor. She'd be like, I know you want a larger TV, but 115-inch is way too large. So if I'm limited to 85, right, and a lot of us are. So if I had to myself, I would like to have the 115 or 110 at that size. But if that's not possible, I definitely go for the Sony Mini LED, the new one, the 4000 nit 85-inch. That would be my choice. Now, if it comes in a 98-inch, because we don't know, I know nothing about the size, I would get the largest 4000 nit Sony X whatever flagship it ends up being.
So we're on to you. Are we on to your number 2?
My number 2.
Your number 2. So number 2, you're looking at the Sony X95M, if that's what we think it is. That is the Sony prototype. And the reason why I want to delineate it that way, FOMO, is that with all the transparent LEDs and micro OLEDs and things that we see at CES, it's a lot of not just prototypes, a lot of concepts. If you're a car fan, when you go to a car show, what do you see? Concepts that'll never make it to market. The only reason why I'm allowing the Sony prototype to be in this conversation is you and I do almost 100% believe, we just believe it, that will be a 2024 TV. So FOMO's second choice would be the Probably we're gonna just name it for the point. Flagship X95M, we'll call it that. Mini LED. Tell me why that excites you. What did you see in our sneak peek that makes you want that?
It was clearly designed with 4K in mind, all the processing. I mean, they wanted to make this the best 4K TV possible, right? Whether it's an updated XR Clear, whatever it is, it feels so polished. And the only drawback is assuming it's only 85 inches, right? Because I
Okay.
really think for just family getting together, I would
Mhm.
appreciate the 85 inch personally. But
Yep.
then I know the family would appreciate the larger size, giving up some of that polish, as long as it isn't terrible, right? They will give up some of that polish for the impact because we're watching mostly sports, events, that type of stuff. And the 115-inch, I really think delivers that immersiveness. Because like when we're watching the Super Bowl, I keep on thinking, because I'm watching the Super Bowl, I'm thinking it would be so much better if it was bigger. It doesn't have to be a better
Yep.
image quality, right? This is a Q90R or whatever,
Yep.
because it's an older TV. And I know today's TV looks at least as good, but I wished it was bigger. And how big? So I started eyeballing, you know what? 100 to 115 inch would be perfect for this space. And so 85 inch, all right. Like you, okay. If I got to go smaller, 85
Bring that
inch.
little thing
But
over here. Could you imagine? What I love about your answers is those of you that know us both, that you're so genuine with what you recommend and what you like yourself. It does show. It's not just logical for that particular person, but you've been pushing 100-inch TVs not just because with the UAK, as we've mentioned, the S5 and the S4 and these TVs that have really come down in price. It's something that you desire, and that's what makes us different than that professional reviewer that is just putting on the hard hat, punching a clock, and saying, "Okay, what am I reviewing today? Okay, Frank, yeah, we'll do this." It's not a job for us. These are things that you and I talk about off air, which is why I do these videos as tech therapy videos. This is how we talk. I could record any of our conversations. So you're still looking at size. What I love about your first two picks is they're actually both mini LED, which I think is something I would not have predicted this time last year. That either
true,
one of us, or especially you, would be talking about mini
true.
LEDs. And
Because
we'll
we were
talk a
so
little
excited about QD OLED since the
QD OLED and,
S95B. That's
and
all we talk
MLA.
about.
And we had an amazing secret peek or behind the scenes look at Samsung displays. We saw their amazing third gen QD OLEDs. We also saw the G4. We spent time with them. It's just interesting how size has now become
Mhm.
such a factor. But do you think that is, FOMO, because size and quality? It's not really the trade off anymore. You are getting
Mm-mm.
these flagships at these large sizes. So I know, back in the
Mhm.
day, we respect even 85-inch TVs. We'd say, you know what, get a cheap 85. You're going to get killed in picture quality. Now you're not having to make that compromise at all, are you?
Nope. And I want to emphasize the getting killed in picture quality. Back in the old days, the $500 weird size 86-inch size was like it was so inexpensive. But then you put it, what
Yeah.
is that, right? The
Yeah.
colors are washed
Dim.
out,
Yeah,
right?
no local dimming at all.
Dim, right? The
Yeah.
tuner just everything looked fuzzy, whatever. But now for a premium price, and I consider $2,000 a premium price still, Sony X90L 85-inch. I would recommend that all day long. It's like
Yep.
$2,000. It is
Yep.
such a solid TV. I wouldn't even think twice about recommending that because I know it's better than any TV, LCD TV sold 3 years ago. Better than Q90R at 85 inches. And I feel so comfortable with where we are today with the mid-tier TVs at 85 inch that as long as my 110, 115-inch TV has that mid-tier image quality, I'm happy because that
Yeah.
size cannot be replaced. It's just immense.
Now, for you guys that don't know, Sony's released two, I think 100 or 97-inch TVs. I believe the X92 was 100 inches, or it might have been 99.
98, I think it's 98 inch
They're 98.
or
97 is the
80.
G2.
Yeah.
So that X92 was its own thing. It was in the same year of the X90K, but it wasn't an X90K. This year, the X90L. Now, this is still entry to mid. We'll consider that an entry level to their mid or high end tier. So I think we both would love to see an X95 version of that.
Yeah.
Now,
Mhm.
Samsung did the QN90A, was their first 100-inch. I believe that was actually 100 inches. We also had that at M-Wave. I think they followed that up with a 90B. I did not see it in person,
or
but as far
900B. They have an 8K they released last year, $35,000,
okay,
still
so I did not
available.
see that one. Okay.
That's a 98. But again, no one's going to pay 33,000. I know it's available. I just saw it on the site. Go, well, what is this? Oh, quote unquote.
Oh,
It's not
interesting.
even.
I knew it was
Yeah,
one of them. What I don't like about what Samsung does is they released a 900B at 100 inches a year behind the 900C.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I don't love that. I did like the Q190A a lot at 100 inches. I love, and this is another thing about our conversation today. Each manufacturer is headed in a different direction. Samsung's first 100-inch is their flagship from the year before. Sony creates their own line. If Sony goes and follows up and puts their high end at 100 inches or 98 inches, I'm there all day with it. What I love about TCL and Hisense is their flagships are going to that size, especially TCL, where I think some of their TVs start at 48 inches. I think the S5 is the S5 and maybe the Q7 start really small and they go all the way up. They
a
have four
40. I think
TVs
they have a 43-inch still. They still sell the TCL
of the
43-inch.
yeah. Love that. So I'm gonna switch it up. My second choice is 8K. Is the Samsung 900D. I would say the 85-inch. Now, the 900C I thought was very good. Seeing it next to the S95C QD OLED from last year, changed my mind quickly with that. For those of you that have a 900C or a 900B, I promise you your version of the TV is better than the one that we saw at the beginning of the year. Samsung typically in their firmware updates every year since the 900A have improved the picture quality of the 8K models throughout the year, FOMO. They're brighter at the end of the year. With their other lineup, they tend to kind of cripple them throughout the year, but the 900 seems to improve. So if you have a 900C, the TV is excellent. I've seen it again since we've looked at it, didn't measure it or anything. But the 900D, what separates it is this new processor, the AI Neural Upscaler. What's that? That's the AI Neural Upscaler. It is the only processor that they're putting on any of their TVs this year is going to be shared for only the 8K. Now, I'm not sure that's going to be the 900 and the 800. I'm going to guess it's on both. I can't see them leaving the 800 behind.
We'll ask
We
them.
don't. Yeah,
We'll
and
ask them when we
we'll
see them.
know. We'll know. And FOMO and I both have some things coming up. We'll have more information. But before that, we love the speculation.
Yeah.
So the 900, what I love about this upscaling, and I'll have it again showing while we speak, it is a processing, doesn't seem like a sharpening FOMO. It seems like a smoothing, upscaling. Instead of having no 8K content, which I know you guys are thinking the minute you hear me say 8K, they're looking to create all content to upscale it to 8K, which has always been the promise, FOMO. So there's also 8K smoothing, motion processing. And I can't wait to see how that is for. So the thing is bringing anything from 1080p all the way to 8K. You and I saw a behind the scenes where some 1080K or 1080K, 1080K, some 1080. So some 10. You can imagine that. Oh my God, this guy said there's 1080K coming. 1080p footage that had beautiful text showing up that was murky on the 1080p. That upscaler brought everything to light. Didn't include any noise or any kind of picture artifacting. This, with the motion processing, they can be used not just in tandem, they're not separate. That to me was pretty amazing, and it's something that you can toggle on and off, and I'm pretty certain you'll be able to increase the strength of it. My one thing I would be concerned about, to your point, is I think Samsung is not getting into the brightness race that Sony is pushing with 4,000 nits. For clearness, Sony is going 4,000 nits because the reference monitor they've made is what this prototype is based on. So there's a reason they're chasing 4,000 nits. I think Samsung has stayed pretty steady at 2,500, maybe 3K nits. So I think they may miss the brightness race for HDR impact. They're focusing on processing. And also, I don't think this 8K upscaling is going to be okay for gaming. I don't think it'll be actually used at all. So you'll end up still with maybe not the local dimming as good. What do you think? I know that was you mentioned it, but what do you think of the 8K 900?
So that actually was my number 2. But then I kept on reconsidering that I really need to have the 4,000 nits. Only because that's my thing, right? Is if future content is graded in 4,000 nits, I want a TV that I can watch, sitting alone, watching that.
You said that like a lonely man. Right? You're like sitting alone When I lose everything buying these things.
And I'll just be there. Where's the wife and kids?
Hello?
All the, yeah, you enjoy that 4,000 nits. We're out of here.
Take care. Hello? Your room is so dark behind you too. They're going already.
Because I was really, I mean, just like you was debating, okay, sports, right? College football
Yep.
season, NFL, game day, or 4,000 nits. And that was the consideration. And I
Yeah.
thought, you know, that's I, when the 4,000 nits is available, I the curiosity will get the best of me. I think the motion on the Sony is good enough. I'd rather have that headroom for 4,000 nits and then just have that. So ultimately, I chose the Sony, and they're probably going to end up costing the same. I don't think you'd be saving money either way because this is going to be a
Yeah.
premium TV on the Sony side. So we know that the 85-inch Q900D is going to be easily 6,000-7,000, and Sony
Yeah,
might
they-
even be
they
more
launch.
expensive than that, by the
Yeah.
way, right at launch, right?
So,
So yeah, I mean that was originally my second choice. I completely forgot about the Sony because they haven't announced it. I go, oh wait,
yeah.
I can choose the Sony, and so I went with the 4,000 nits.
Now let me ask you this. Let's hypothetically, and this is what I love about this being an organic industry, and our videos are organic. They're filmed. It's Valentine's Day 2024. This time last year, before Sony announces this 4,000 nit reference monitor, this is something that creators wanted. This is not something that they're throwing out there. So what I'm saying to those of you watching, why this reference monitor is so important is that creators are ready to make 4,000 nit content. Now there's already 4,000 nit
Yes.
content out there. However, this reference monitor, we're guessing will be out there. It's already out there. So it's already
there.
being used. So what I'm saying is that if this monitor didn't exist, would you still be chasing the 5,000, 10,000?
Nope.
So it would alter your decision about even okay. So
it would have
so
been, it would have been the 110-inch. I mean, size is still size. I don't care if it's 100 nits or 4,000. It would have, my second choice would then be the Samsung with the
Fascinating.
upscaling neural
Yep.
link, whatever, because I do appreciate the motion in sports.
Mhm.
I would fully enable all of that stuff to get that smooth motion because sports is
Yep.
all about action and clarity, motion clarity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I don't want that because you know I'd be sitting real close watching the action, right?
Yep.
So it comes down to content usage, and that's my content. But if I was watching CNN all day long, whatnot, then it probably wouldn't matter. But because we're such avid sports watchers, you know, yeah, absolutely.
But I love
It'd be a
that
900D.
but I love that it's out there, and the fact that it's out there has altered your decision
Oh yeah.
at 4,000 nits is
Well,
really
because
amazing.
you and I have been so disappointed about the lack of HDR content above 1,000
Yes.
nits. I mean, other
Yeah.
than Spears and Munsell, right?
Yeah.
We're like, you know, why? You know, that's okay. Why are you paying extra?
Well,
Right? And
which
that's
is
why
which
I
is
thought the S95C was good enough.
well, and that's what's so funny about this industry is we even encountered that with Samsung about, well, you know, what's the point? 1,000 nits. And that was kind of our rule of thumb last year and the year before. We're over we always wanted 4,000 nits. Let's just don't get it twisted. Since 2016, we've wanted 4,000 nits because we believed Dolby Vision was 4,000 nits. That what we were always told.
Yeah.
So we
Boy, were
all
we
wanted,
misled.
yeah. So we, so we,
Oh, the FOMO and the hype.
so anyway, we've had 4,000 nits. The Z9K is 4,000 nits. The Z9G is 4,000 nits. Whether it's useful 4,000 nits, Windows, or all something important. However, we thought that with the perceptual brightness of OLEDs, even the C1 and those other OLEDs, we thought we'd be fine. And even the QD OLEDs hitting 2,000 nits, we're more than fine. I mean, remember, G3, we're good. S95C, we're good. Now, even those OLEDs are not going to reach it. And we're back to mini LEDs delivering what OLEDs can't, which I think is
At a
a
larger
great
size.
yeah, which you need that. Because this time last year, if you remember, the X95L, about 2,500 nits, a little too close to the A95L in terms of peak brightness. Thus, you know, what's the point of going mini LED? There's really no real advantage to it. Now, here we are. So give me, so what is that? Is that your number 3? What's your number 3?
My number 3 is my bedroom TV. So we have my living room TV choices, right?
Yep.
My bedroom TV is a smaller room, but I still have lights everywhere. I currently have the A95K there. I'm not happy with it in the sense that at night it's perfect, but during the day, Man, that glossy is you really see the glare in the windows and stuff, man. So
So
you
you
know
see
where I'm
yourself
going.
laying in bed, you're like waving.
It's like every
Might gotta
time.
put some clothes on.
It's just it is distracting, right?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
this TV was not designed for that type of room, light control room, all that good stuff. This room is not light controlled, right? Hey, I got like 3 windows behind me, and I'm sitting in front of the TV, so it would have to be the S95D. It's the brightness isn't the issue. It's just all of that glare, because I think once the glare is gone, the brightness would be fine. So I think the S95D perfect. And then when the lights are down, I think the accuracy would be good enough. Yeah, I know I'm going to lose maybe a touch of contrast, but then I watch that TV, or my wife does, or kids will break into the room and sit there and watch whatever Netflix with us. I think having it there for 40% of the time we watch during the day, that 40% is important to me as well. So S95D, purely because of the anti-glare matte screen. That's it. If it wasn't for the matte screen, it may not be the S95D, but because it has that matte
Wow.
screen, yes, it is.
So you are actually picking the TV for that specific use
Yeah,
case. The matte
that
screen, which I
feature.
think is going to,
Mhm.
and we even predicted the matte screen is going to be a massive seller. The indication that the frame is probably
Well,
the
it's
most
kind of
popular.
expensive though. That's my only thing. I mean, like you said, I'd rather it was on the S.
90.
I mean, something less cheap, less expensive,
Yep.
85, 90, because it doesn't matter to me that it's not QD OLED, honestly, because it could be on the S85, right? I think the S85 is a
Yeah.
W OLED. That's
Hmm.
fine too. I just wanted that anti-glare that was a bit more
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't want rainbow, because I've had the Q90R in that room before, and the rainbow, you could see it whoosh, just because I have lights everywhere in this room.
Yeah. Of course.
So I do see the rainbow effect in that on that TV as well.
So for you guys that don't know, the S95D, it's actually not matte. It's an anti-reflective layer.
Mhm.
We compare it to the frame, except what's interesting and what's amazing about this technology is it's on an OLED. And it's on a QD OLED, most likely a third generation QD OLED. So it's very bright. It
Mhm.
is absolutely beautiful. I don't love it, but I think having that matte in tandem with an OLED has never been seen. And I think that's going to literally leap off the screen. And to your point, during our behind the scenes, it was amazing how 100% of that image was visible with the very bright lights on it. It wasn't like it was kind of not, you lost a little bit. You lost everything on a WRGB glossy. I mean, it was almost unwatchable. On that matte technology, it was completely
Like
visible.
that scene behind you with all those dark, it would be unwatchable if there were lights everywhere. You
That's
would
why
need
that's
the
why I
matte.
shoot it. That's why we do these at night. Because
With
if it was
the
during the
windows
day,
down,
if
the
it was
windows
during
down.
if it was during the day, you would see the back of my head and you'd see the street outside. You wouldn't even think the TV is on. But I love that pick. For me, number 3 is going to be the Sony X95M, if that's what it's going to be.
Hmm.
I am a mini
What size?
LED.
What size?
It would be 85.
Okay.
Now, I'm hoping we're not going to have a repeat of last year's X95L where it's one size only in the US, because I can't speak to the other sizes in the other regions. I've heard they're actually quite good last year. The year before, we saw a difference in quality and local dimming. For me, seeing the way this local dimming behaved, it's not just the 4,000 nits, it's the 4,000 nits, it's XR clear, and it's also how intricate this local dimming was. For those of you that want to see that video, I'll link in the description, my interview with Rob Brennan from Sony. In detail, that local dimming just wrapped around the image, FOMO. So for me, as a mini LED, it'll give you that close to OLED micro contrast. Forget about the blacks. It's going to get that depth, and we saw that in our demo material. And the blacks are amazing. So what's so funny is the perceived brightness of OLEDs used to sell it. Now for me, it's the perceived darkness of this mini LED because of its technology, and the real brightness. It's in reverse. I think that's going to make for something very compelling and something very special. Where I take a step back is seeing how many LEDs are in gaming. People will say the local dimming doesn't take a hit. I actually disagree with that. I think the local dimming does get hurt, even if it's left enabled. I don't feel it's as strong. It's been tested. I feel it's different. I know the processing definitely takes a hit. Where in OLEDs, you can have all the processing going and still have that pixel response. So that's the only thing I would shy away from the ZX95 is, again, my use case is gaming, but I think that TV is going to be absolutely phenomenal. So my top 3 is the LG G4, 83 inches, the 85-inch Q900D 8K with the Neural 8K upscaler, and the third place would be the Sony X95M Mini LED. For FOMO, we're looking at the TCL QM8 115 Max. We are looking at the Sony X95M Mini LED, and number 3, we are looking at, I'm thinking the 77 inch, right? You're going for the bedroom?
Bedroom probably 65.
You're going back with an iPad?
It's only because it's 65. The A95K we have right now 65, and it just barely fits in our, I don't know how you call it. It's the alpha system where it's
Yep.
against the wall, and it's very lean, right? And so we set it up perfectly so that it's we have all this stuff all around it. So 65 inches is fine, and we're sitting
Excellent.
only like 6-7 feet away, just on the ground, relaxed. So. Yeah.
Now, for you folks, let's quickly, I want to ask you a quick question. What would be is size the only reason that the 110 UX wasn't your choice? Was it just that difference in size, that it's 110 versus 115, or was there something about the image that thought?
It's not about the image, because if you're going to go large, go with the largest one you can get, 115. Again, we don't know the prices. If it was outrageous, then I'd go with the 110. But it's the largest size that they have, because I don't want a projector. I'm going to watch it in a mixed use room, bright and all that good stuff. So now, the one thing about image quality, though, if the 110 ends up having a better viewing angle, I might go with that. We don't know what the viewing angles are like in these. Now, at CES, they both look great, but it's so hard to measure viewing angle, right? Because everything is super saturated. Now, if they both have similar viewing angles, I go with a larger TV. If the 110 ends up having better viewing angles or better skin tones, now we're going to the subtleties. It may not be worth the 5 inches I'm getting on the 115. So, but I want that big TV.
So would the
start. Yep.
So would the Hisense 110 UX be your runner-up for your 4?
Yeah,
we're going to add a 4.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right.
So I'm going to copy.
If I have that size, then I would drop to the Sony. But I want that size.
So I would copy that for my runner-up would be the Hisense 110 UX. Even though I don't think a TV of that size is something, only because we do switch TVs out regularly. But if it's going to be my end-all, be-all, I like the U8K a bit more than the QM8 last year. I like the more natural image. I think Hisense can also deliver a sharp, saturated image and be a little more shadow detail oriented. So I would go with the 110 UX. What's interesting about the 110 UX is there is a 4K variant capable of 10,000 nits and an 8K variant.
That's what we're getting in the US.
Yes, and the 8K one I'd say is probably 5,000 nits. We will not see that one. Hopefully we'll see it down the road. But I think that's a great list. I appreciate us doing this in the sense of what we would personally buy. Now, if you take this video and then go throughout our year, you'll see these choices change because we're recommending to you and your specific use case. But FOMO, I want to thank you. Happy Valentine's Day, my friend.
Oh, yeah. Happy Valentine's Day. Next time I see you, which hopefully is soon, I'll take you out to chocolates and a dinner.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, and for you guys that, we are going to have a very exciting year. You guys are seeing us together. But for you guys that make it this far in the video, it's typically our premiere crew. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. I think we're at 30, probably with intro, about 40 minutes, which is actually not that long for us. But we love these videos. We like them as much as we do. But we're getting these videos also before these TVs release, simply because this is our conversation that FOMO and I have off air. And we find them as being interesting content. So FOMO, thank you so much, my friend. Happy Valentine's Day, buddy.
Happy V-Day, man.
All right, bro.
It's better to burn out than to fade away. Where can we be on the one?